Simpson and Thatcher, and they reviewed it and they found this. Failures by, they're sort of slamming the board of directors here, basically saying they don't even show up for meetings. And they're saying failures by boards of directors in fulfilling their fiduciary responsibilities may arise when a board leaves governing responsibility to a small number of people, some of whom may have conflicts of interest that can mar their judgment. The foundation's outside auditors noted the lack of board meetings and that board minutes are not even signed. This weakness was not corrected even after being noted by the auditors. Now, what I found interesting in this review also is that Chelsea Clinton was concerned about all of this. And that's what really stood out to me. She wanted this reviewed and looked into, and there were sort of internal discussions about this spoiled little brat looking into our dealings.
Right, because you basically have Bill and Hillary at the top of this thing. There's no transparency here whatsoever. And we've seen in some of the other emails that Chelsea Clinton is concerned about how all this is being operated, how this might look if her mom decides to run for president. Exactly. I mean, she was really aware of this as the daughter.
Hundreds of millions of dollars being exchanged here. The idea that, as you pointed out, we're going to donate, foreign leaders, despots are going to donate money, and we're going to provide favors in return.
And that was affirmed by this review, which, by the way, just to restate for the third time, was called for by Chelsea Clinton. This is not something the right-wing media made up. This was an independent law firm looking into this, and they go on to say people who are giving money to the Clinton Foundation expect something in return, a quid pro quo, from the U.S. government. Basically, this is an access selling scheme.
Yeah. And it's amazing to read some of the internal emails slamming Hillary Clinton. Basically, like I said, calling her a spoiled brat, telling her she shouldn't really be sniffing her nose in this, just to look elsewhere.
To Chelsea, exactly right. Oh, well, all the parasites clinging on to her parents, getting rich from their access to the former president, were saying, wait a second, Chelsea Clinton should back off here. She's getting in the way of our...
this little spoiled brat that she is. I think if you take a step back, the takeaway here is just the Clintons continuing to scoot the law when other people get punished for doing some of the things that they have done. Also just how calculated they have been through this whole process. And there was an email exchange with Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, Robbie Mook, talking about the Wall Street speeches that we know that both Hillary and Bill were giving at that time. And here's what he said. He said, if we're announcing on the 12th, the 13th, and he's speaking to a Wall Street bank on the 15th, that is begging for a bad rollout.
So he's talking about Bill Clinton, who's about to give a speech to Morgan Stanley, and he cites polling data from Iowa, a state that they wanted to win. He says, look, people in Iowa are really worried about the influence of Wall Street. Maybe Bill Clinton should, forego this one speech.
Right.
Well, guess who wanted him to give the speech? Guess who wanted the money so bad, because they only made $250 million in the last 20 years, so, they need the money. Hillary Clinton, John and Robbie. HRC is reiterating her original position. She does not want him to cancel. So Aberdeen.
So she does not want him to cancel this speech. And to your point about the polling data out of Iowa, so she's set to announce her candidacy, comes out, and then she's going to be in Iowa, and he says Wall Street ranks among the first for Iowans among the list of institutions that, quote, take advantage of everyday Americans, scoring twice as high as the general election electorate. This is a very big deal in my view. He's telling Hillary Clinton, look, we've got to get Bill to not give this speech. It's not going to resonate well in Iowa because they're going to see him as disconnected.
Yeah, so just all you got to do is pretend you're not in the pocket of big finance just for a little while now. And Hillary Clinton says, no, we want the payday. Now, look, I'm totally for capitalism. I'm totally for making money. Obviously, I'm not against giving speeches. I'm for it. But this is greed. I mean, you're basically pursuing money to your own detriment.
It's so interesting. This is like the books that you read after a campaign is over, and you read about all the gossip and the nonsense that goes on. We're reading it live while the campaign is happening, just weeks before the election. What I also found interesting is how the Clinton campaign and her small family around her actually feels about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, look at this. This is an email from Neera Tanden, who writes this in an email. She says, Hillary, God, her instincts are suboptimal.
Now, Neera Tanden is the head of the Center for American Progress. She's very close to Hillary Clinton, one of her key policy advisors, and knows her well enough to pass that judgment.
So we were digging around on Google Trends this morning, which really shows how people are searching on the internet for keywords and topics, right? So when people punch into Google Trends the topic, Trump, here, look at these two different ones, Trump women or WikiLeaks. Look what has the overwhelming number of searches. WikiLeaks. People interested in what's going on with these emails. Huge spikes across the country. And if you look at the heat map, this is daily. It's all across the United States, into Canada, all the way over to Africa, or WikiLeaks searches.
But you don't see that when you turn on just the different channels, in cable and mainstream news.
Right,
Those
you would think
numbers
it
don't
would be
add up.
reflected. You think that that would be mirrored in like the primetime.
Well, yeah,
news
because there's
coverage.
one story we've sort of known for a long time. Trump's vulgar. Okay, yeah, he was on Howard Stern a lot. And then these emails tell us stuff we didn't know. So isn't this newsworthy? We think it is. The networks do not. Here is a side-by-side comparison of the number of minutes the networks gave last night to these two stories.
Are we shocked by this? I mean, this is, you know, we repeat this on a regular basis.
Wow.
I mean, 4 minutes on ABC News, 1 minute, you know, for WikiLeaks, for Trump, 4 minutes.
What about NBC News? They gave precisely 0 minutes. They ignored the story like it never happened. Now, why did they do that?
Well, I think there's a lot going on there.
Well, there may be, and part of it is one of their own employees, John Harwood,
right,
who also works for the New York Times, but he works over at CNBC as well, was caught in these emails giving campaign advice to the Hillary Clinton for President campaign. Just totally busted. So rather than addressing this, NBC decides the story never happened. Down the memory hole, full Soviet, we're just going to erase you from the picture. It never happened.
Can I just say, though, we talked about this last week, and I just find this to be a sad time for America, because here we are just a few weeks before this election. We're not even talking about issues that impact people's daily lives. We're not even talking about the economy. We're not talking about foreign policy. We're not talking about energy. We're not talking about anything that really matters. And so I think that's sad. And I think that's why people are frustrated with this election and where we are, and in terms of who they're going to go vote for.
You know what would be really interesting is if the august television broadcast networks decide to do like side-by-side comparisons of the policies of the candidates. So like, what is Hillary's immigration policy? What's Trump's? The middle class is dying. What are these guys going to do about it? They don't tell us any of this. It's like, oh, Trump is, you know, naughty, or, you know, people are mad at him. Okay, I get it. I believe it. That's fine. But like, what are they going to do if elected president?
And that's what I find the most troubling of all these WikiLeaks is the Wall Street speeches where Hillary Clinton is talking about policy, and it's so different from what we're hearing out on the stump.
That is a great point.
More on that later. But we do have some other headlines that we've got to...
Caught on camera, former Democratic Wisconsin Senator Russ Feingold telling the truth about Hillary Clinton's strategy to take guns out of your hands, law-abiding America. Watch this.
If there's still a Republican control in Congress, and if Hillary is elected, is there anything she could do to... well, there might be executive orders.
Executive orders, not through Congress, our most democratic institution, but straight from the White House, taking your guns away. Well, what do both candidates have planned for the Second Amendment? Here to weigh in is radio talk show host, our old friend David Webb. David, it's great to see you this morning. So that's just, I mean, that's the truth. You're not going to get real gun control, gun-grabbing legislation through the Congress. You're just not. People don't want it.
They're not going to get it through Democrats in Congress, not just Republicans.
Because the public doesn't want it, but who cares what the public wants? She's going to do it anyway.
Yeah, and this just goes to the way they approach things. The Democrats, Russ Feingold, where Hillary Clinton sits, if we can't get it done the right way, then we'll impede. What have they done in all these jurisdictions around America? Democrats find ways to impede or hinder your right to bear arms, your Second Amendment rights to buy arms. They find every which way to get in your way. They create safe zones or fake safe zones. You can't have it within 1,500 yards of this. But the American people have decided that we're going to stick with our Constitution. And that has got to seriously anger Hillary Clinton.
You wonder if it even matters. I mean, when they want to do anything, they want to make any social change at all, they do it through the agencies. They don't do it through the Congress anymore. So here, we're going to put a side-by-side gun question policies up on the screen. So Trump says he wants to focus on fixing the broken system, make concealed carry permits valid across all the states, improve mental health treatment. Hillary Clinton says she wants to expand background checks, remove legal protection for gun manufacturers, increase inspections on licensed arm dealers, ban assault weapons, whatever those are. So letting people, lawyers, sue gun manufacturers obviously is just a piñata party for
remove the legal
lawyers.
Protections for
but
any
here's my
industry.
question. Does anybody believe that will reduce gun violence?
No, because that's not about gun violence. That's about control as they see it. Think about this. If she says this time we're going to go after gun manufacturers, what's going to stop them from determining that another industry should be open to lawsuits? Maybe you should be able to sue the coal manufacturers, those who bring coal out of the ground and give us electricity, because you got lung cancer and it might have been tied to carbon.
So Hillary's taking more money from lawyers than from any other group.
Yeah.
This makes lawyers rich. Is there some connection?
Of course there is. They lobby. They know. The lawyers and the lawyers associations have been heavily embedded with the Democrat Party, and they lobby Republicans too. But they give to the Democrats because more rules, more bureaucracy, more regulations is more business for lawyers.
Exactly, and more lawsuits. But again, if you can find, and I hope you'll come back, if you can find one piece of social science that suggests that suing gun manufacturers will make America safer, I'd love to see it.
Here's my simple question. How does removing